confidence comes from within and not from anything external. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Marielle Dagassan. I'm a former Goldman Sachs analyst. Ever since I left Wall Street, I went on the journey of discovering who I am. This is me sharing everything on healing, mindset, health, and some other things. So if you'd like to join, I'd love if you would join us. Today, I'm going to be talking about confidence. This is such a big buzzword. I would like to share my personal journey and personal story with confidence. I struggled so much with seeing myself in photos and videos, and surprisingly, my confidence didn't come from anything external, but actually just a perception shift within me is what changed everything. This is me as a baby. I was born with a nevus on my cheek, and it was about the size of my entire cheek. And I had 2 surgeries before the age of 4. It was primarily removed for health reasons because it kept growing and they didn't really know what would happen with it when I grew up. And essentially now, maybe you can see I have a little bit of a scar. And I went my whole life believing that I wasn't pretty enough and that I wasn't beautiful enough. And it's actually really insane to me now. I believed that I was damaged. From day one, I just thought something was wrong with me, and I couldn't understand why. I just felt like I never fit in, and I would go to school and I had to wear patches on my cheek. That was not normal for like a 6-year-old to be walking around with like a huge white patch on her cheek, and it was kind of hard growing up with something different, even small. I was made fun of at school. I felt like people were looking at me or judging me. I remember one time I came home and I guess apparently I was really upset because someone had asked me about my birthmark, but I don't think it was in a nice way. It all impacted me a lot. Like, I grew up feeling very different. I grew up feeling like I wasn't good enough. I didn't have a good self-perception or self-esteem. That kind of trickled into so many different areas of my life. And naturally, life has its way of teaching us certain lessons. I needed to learn the lesson of where beauty really comes from because I had attached it to all this external meaning. For so long, I looked at myself in the mirror and focused just on my scar. I was missing every other part of me that's amazing and focusing only on this one aspect when I'm so much more than that. If someone asked me about the birthmark, I would say, oh, I was born with a birthmark on my cheek and I had surgeries to have it removed and like, this is my scar. And they would often say like, oh, you can't even see it. And it felt so shrinking because I was like, oh, but this is such a big part of my life. Going through the experience of like having this as a child and going to the hospital and leaving school early to have it checked on throughout my life in all these different ways. It was such a big part of my life. It always made me feel kind of invisible. Like, oh, they don't see me. They are saying they can't see it, but all I see is my birthmark and my scar. And this is so tough to talk about. But then what I realized over time was that, no, I wasn't seeing me. Like, I wasn't looking in the mirror and seeing all that I am. I was limiting myself to one thing of my life that seemed hard at the time, but I'm older now. I thought that people were basically saying that I was invisible, but actually I was the one making myself invisible to myself. I wasn't even seeing all that I was. So when I went up to the mirror every day and all I focused on was the scar, then I was just thinking of all the times in which I felt left out, or that maybe I got like someone said something mean to me about it, or something that really was hurtful. I had this perception shift about a year ago. Not only did I realize that the birthmark was my biggest gift of my life, I was the one that was missing myself. Like, I was the one that was looking in the mirror and not even seeing all that I am, which is beautiful. I'm just aware now that this generation is growing up in a time where everything is compared to external beauty. And it makes me really sad because if I were being judged purely on external beauty when I was a child and I had patches on my face, like, what does that say about me? But that's not what beauty is, and that's not where beauty comes from. Beauty genuinely comes from within, that you don't need to do anything. You don't need to change anything about yourself to become beautiful. You already are beautiful. I can honestly say that I haven't paid attention to or even thought about my birthmark for the past year, which is huge for me because it was all consuming in my life. And I think I've changed in so many ways of just like getting over myself. Yes, I'm allowed to experience my pain and the experiences I went through of feeling left out or not pretty enough or not enough in all these different areas of life, but it's over now. One time I was out in New York City and I was drinking with friends. I was going through a period or a phase of life in which I was really diving deeper into myself, really wanting to understand how I felt about myself and how secure, insecure I was at that moment. And I remember I was looking at a lot of baby photos at this time, and it's me with the birthmark and all these different baby photos with just this pure joy that I am and that I was. And it almost was like, where did things go wrong? Like, where did I lose this? But because I was going through this period of just really enjoying these photos of myself, I was showing them to my guy friends. I was like, oh my God, look at how cute this baby is. Like, isn't she just adorable? And it was me as a baby. It was these photos. And one of the guy friends who I thought was close to me looked at the photos and was just like, that's disgusting. Like, whose baby is that? And I just remember feeling a bit taken aback. Like, this is someone I trust and a friend. He has these judgments about this photo, not knowing that it was me. But what it really brought me to a deeper truth about was, okay, I'm the one that's living with the birthmark. I'm the one living this experience. And no matter what anyone else says, I need to be okay with me. I need to justify my feelings. No one else. I don't need the external validation. I realized that what I was trying to do in this period of time was trying to control what other people thought of me. I just needed to look deeper inside and think about how I feel about me. I ended up crying the whole way home. I think I stayed up really late that night just journaling and letting some things go, and really just coming to the conclusion that I need to be okay with me. Like, I really need to believe that I'm beautiful. I don't need anyone else to think that. This kind of led to me taking a break from social media and just deciding to go inward a bit more. The other thing that happened that really changed things for me was that I started appreciating all the sacrifices that my parents had made for me, and just the amount of time and effort and care that went into everything regarding the birthmark. My parents called every doctor that they could because no one had seen this before, and they had to figure out what to do, and they didn't know if it should be removed or not because it had certain cells that were bad, and they weren't sure, and there was so much uncertainty. And my mom was handing me over to a doctor at 11 months old to operate on my face, which is quite a delicate feature of the body. And I'm just so grateful to them that they went through that experience and they really, I would say, gave it their all. I think that really speaks to how this whole experience was like a shift off of myself and into myself. So I had to shift the focus off of this self-absorbed, self-obsessed feeling of like, what are people thinking about me? And do people even like me? Like, am I even pretty enough? It's like, who cares? Like, who cares? Honestly, do I like me? Do I think I'm pretty enough? Those are the questions that I needed to ask myself. And then it's like all this validation and approval kind of just fell away. I now realize that self-esteem, confidence, courage, these things come from the inside, not from anything you do. And this is not some rah-rah shout affirmations in the mirror. It is, though, a deeper sense of knowing and appreciation for who you are. And that is what leads to confidence on the outside. I cannot change that I was born with a birthmark or that I had surgeries and I have a scar, but I can change the way I view it and the way I see myself. So before you go to your next fun photo shoot with friends or night out where you're gonna be taking photos or videos or whatever it is, or before you look at yourself in the mirror in the morning, notice what you're focusing on. Are you focusing on that one thing that's maybe wrong or that you don't like? Or are you appreciating all the beautiful and amazing things about yourself?